In the traditional African setup, women were regarded as homekeepers. They performed laborious chores like fetching firewood and water, cultivating and preparing farms for planting, looking after children, as well as cooking. They could not dare go against the harsh cultural practices that made them subservient to men. In essence, women were nothing short of beasts of burden who bore children for their husbands and performed dehumanizing tasks. To say the least, this scenario has dramatically changed today. The major catalyst to this change has been formal education, which has opened many opportunities for women in high-flying professions. Education has also empowered women to agitate for their rights. Success seldom comes on a silver platter. In that respect, women who have broken the proverbial glass ceiling have worked hard on their studies and remained focused on their career growth. Needless to say, they have also been highly disciplined on their road to the top, and they have earned their coveted positions through merit and not favor. We believe that the women leaders featured in this documentary will be a source of inspiration to individuals from various walks of life who are keen on climbing the ever-steep socio-economic ladder. Yes, it is possible to be employed as a junior officer and rise through the ranks to the top by performing well in your job. It is equally possible to start a business in a small way and grow it into a formidable empire through sheer hard work. Yes, it is possible to become a leader by honing your skills through continuous education and training. And yes, it is no longer a man's world. It is a world for those willing and able to go an extra mile in excelling in their professions. Tips for women in leadership. Gender parity is an issue that has gained a lot of credence today. It has been proved through research and evidence that inclusive leaders and organizations outperform those that are not. Women, to be specific, play multiple roles at the workplaces and home, and there are certain features within them that need to be harnessed. When well managed, these features contribute to a ripple of intrinsic transformation, which in turn assists in the achievement of excellence in all spheres of their life. Below are a number of things that women should do in order to hone their leadership skills. Gain tools for developing their professionalism, new skills, and business contacts. Learn how to become authentic leaders and overcome obstacles to leadership. Increase their connections and boost their circle of influence. Recognize bias and barriers and how to remove them. Develop strategies to manage conflict, increase confidence, and communicate effectively. Identify steps for avoiding hidden obstacles, seizing opportunities, and being seen as a leader. The tools. Specialized knowledge. First and foremost, professionals are known for their specialized knowledge. They've made a deep personal commitment to develop and improve their skills, and where appropriate, they have the degrees and certifications that serve as the foundation of this knowledge. Not all business areas have a stable core of knowledge. What matters though is that these professionals have worked in a serious, thoughtful, and sustained way to master the specialized knowledge needed to succeed in their respective fields. Competency. Professionals get the job done. They are reliable and they keep their promises. They manage expectations upfront and they do their best to make the situation right. Honesty and integrity. Professionals exhibit qualities such as honesty and integrity. They keep their word and they can be trusted implicitly because of this. They never compromise their values and will do the right thing even when it means taking a harder road. Accountability. Professionals hold themselves accountable for their thoughts, words, and actions, especially when they've made a mistake. This personal accountability is closely tied to honesty and integrity, and it's a vital element in professionalism. Self-regulation. They also remain professional and level-headed even when under pressure. In addition, they have high levels of emotional intelligence. Increasing connections and boosting your circle of influence. B. Increasing connections and boosting your circle of influence. Understand and accept. Be proactive. Be a good listener. Practice empathy. Be solution-oriented. Accept responsibility. Appreciate others. Be visionary. Sift through the information. Be passionate. Educate yourself constantly. Be a person of integrity and values. Avoid the never-ending chase. Gain influence online. Recognize bias and barriers and how to remove them. Developing strategies to manage conflict, increase confidence, and communicate effectively. In order to achieve this goal, the leaders should choose their fights because some of them are not worth their time and energy. If need be, they should resolve conflicts with speed, being spot on. Lastly, they should strive to be very good communicators. Seizing opportunities and being seen as a leader. To start with, as a leader, delegate easy tasks in order to have time for the demanding ones. Fools cling to familiarity and ease. What is easy for you may be challenging to others. Help others do what you do well. Indeed, one way to develop yourself is to develop others. Secondly, spend more time reflecting on your performance and less on others. When your performance improves, the people around you improve. Thirdly, leaders should learn how to take new challenges because it helps them grow. In conclusion, women in leadership need to appreciate that hard work and excellence, though vital, are not enough. They should learn to network, prioritize, speak up, dress well, and stay positive. Kenyan microfinance sector is one of the most vibrant in sub-Saharan Africa. It includes a diversity of institutional forms and a fairly large branch network to serve economically active, albeit low-income earners. The business takes different forms ranging from microfinance banks regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya, institutions that are registered as non-governmental organizations, church-based microfinance institutions, merry-go-round groups, popularly known in Kiswahili as chamas, rotating savings and credit associations, accumulative savings and credit associations, as well as investment groups. Delivery of the microfinance products and services takes different forms from group lending, individual, corporate, and non-formal lending. Wide coverage of the telecommunication services has enhanced lending to the marginalized areas which are characterized by illiteracy, poor infrastructure, and a vicious cycle of poverty. The economic pillar of Kenya's Vision 2030 objective of enhancing deposit mobilization, increasing saving levels, and improving the general quality of life for all citizens. So, the government introduced regulations through the Microfinance Act 2006 and subsequent amendments to ensure that the sector is able to meet its objective of serving the economically disadvantaged population. The sector's umbrella body is the Association of Microfinance Institutions Kenya, AMFI Kenya. As the voice of the sector, AMFI Kenya has achieved key milestones since its inception. One of them is successfully lobbying for the enactment of the Microfinance Act and regulations which saw the establishment of microfinance banks. AMFI Kenya has a board drawn from the different categories of its membership, including microfinance banks, wholesale microfinance lenders, and credit-only microfinance institutions. In the same regard, it has a secretariat of 5 staff members headed by a chief executive officer who is currently Karanja.
So my name is Karanja. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Microfinance Institutions.
A career banker, Caroline is a Bachelor of Science International Business Administration Finance Option graduate from the United States International University, Africa. Her banking career was shaped while still at USIU Africa, where she got an opportunity to work at Citibank as an intern. Among other duties, she assisted in the processing of the Kenya Airways share issue, which was floated to the public in March 1996. This involved the creation and update of applicants' database. After her 1-year internship, Caroline joined Commercial Bank of Africa as a graduate trainee. The university had a partnership with the bank which opened doors to its graduates to join as trainees. She worked with CBA from 1998 to 2005. In 2006, she joined AMFI Kenya as a coordinator. That was an exciting time for her because the association was lobbying for the enactment of the Microfinance Act. She was involved in this critical process where she learned a lot about the sector given that she was coming from a background of corporate banking.
I went to school in university level at the USIU Africa, where I did international business administration, finance option, and I believe my career was carved from that point in time when I finished the college. I was asked to go and do some internship at Citibank. That is where the career for banking actually got me into some interest. From the internship in Citibank, I joined CBA, Commercial Bank of Africa, and that's where I went in as a management trainee. At that point in time, we were very lucky because USIU had a partnership with the bank, so we would be taken and trained, and I was there from 1998 to 2005. In 2006, I joined the association. When I joined the association, I joined as a coordinator, and it was at an exciting time when the association was lobbying for the Microfinance Act. So I was involved in the process, and I learned quite a bit about the sector. Coming from a corporate banking setup, I learned quite a bit and continued with the journey from there to date.
The process of lobbying for the enactment of the Microfinance Act and regulations was industry-led and championed by the Secretariat. Caroline and other members of the Secretariat worked very closely with the key stakeholders and the leaders in the industry in order to actualize it. These leaders mentored her a great deal, and she learned a lot from them about the importance of preparing and embracing any changes that may occur in an organization.
As I mentioned before, we were lobbying for the microfinance regulations, and this I can say I found very good leaders who are already here in the association, who are from the different microfinance institutions. As you know, the association is led by the membership. So the leaders who are already there were very good mentors, and that was very critical to what I was learning from them. And also coming from a banking sector, it was also a learning point and understanding the sector. So I picked quite a bit, and I think what it is just being ready to learn, that willingness to learn, also being dynamic with the changes that were coming in.
In the same breath, she learned various fundraising skills because by and large, Amphi Kenya's operations are supported by membership subscription and revenue that is generated by activities that the association initiates. As the coordinator, it was her responsibility to develop the membership of the association and inclusion by recruiting new players in the market who met her requirements, besides maintaining linkages with other microfinance networks regionally. She would also identify and develop relevant capacity building programs for the members by continuously engaging them on a needs assessment, as well as coordinating thematic workshops to ensure that they remained relevant in the market. Owing to her immense contribution in strengthening Amphi Kenya, Caroline was promoted to a programs manager in 2008. The board confirmed her as the CEO in 2018 after acting in that position for 1 year.
It was also a time when I learned that fundraising skills, because the association is run by the membership subscriptions. So at that point in time, to be able to run some of the programs of the association, you must have other partners who are supporting some of the activities that you are intending to run in the association.
Besides being mentored by various leaders in the microfinance sector, Caroline attributes her meteoric career growth to the networks and partners that she has worked with over the years. One of them is the City Foundation, the sponsor of the City Micro Entrepreneurship Awards CMA, a global event that promotes and illustrates how microfinance strengthens the entrepreneurial spirit in impoverished communities around the world. Some of the other key partners are Semaine Africaine de la Microfinance SAM, the organizers of the African Microfinance Week, African Rural and Agricultural Credit Association AFRACA, a lead advocate and coordinator of rural and agricultural finance in Africa. She has also attended various leadership courses locally and internationally. Moreover, she has moderated sessions in several international microfinance forums. This exposure has helped her to hone her leadership skills.
I don't know whether it is a short period of time, but I have been in this, since I joined the association, it's been quite a while. And for me, I think it's been about 8 years, almost 10 years actually, since I have been in the association, from 2006. More than 10 years. So I have been in different stages of growth, and I think what I can say is that just being with the leaders that are actually leading these other organizations, and actually just working in tandem with them and in partnership with them and listening to them, because they're the ones who are actually doing the operations of this microfinance in the sector. So just being able to understand and listen to what they're saying, that builds you, and it helps you in this growth process. There's also a lot of other networks that are there that also have grown us which, there are various courses, leadership courses that you may attend, that have also continuously helped in the growth in this particular position. So that way, just having that listening ear, being dynamic and always willing to learn from what the other leaders are telling you and or talking about, getting proper mentors who can work with you and take you through, walk with you in this journey has been very helpful.
Over the years, Caroline has become very passionate about the microfinance sector, especially because of its impact on transforming people's lives. According to her, Amphi Kenya members develop products that go a long way in assisting the bottom of the pyramid clientele, often shunned by the mainstream financial institutions because they are perceived as high-risk borrowers, to alleviate their plight. That experience really excites her, and it has drawn her closer to the sector.
When I joined the sector, to be honest, at first, I didn't even know about the microfinance sector because I had come from a corporate banking space. But when I came in and I realized who the sector is serving and the impact they actually have on the ground, it actually gave me more keenness in seeing what is happening, the impact, because unlike the banks, what I realized is that these particular institutions, they have developed products and services that are actually customized for this end client that we are talking about, the mama mboga, that particular kind of client. So what happens is that the institution actually goes into they take even strides in knowing a particular client's family. So they know this particular family, how they live, so they have continuously given them facilities that are being able to actually develop them. So be it you start with a business loan as a client, then from there the institution understands you have a family, you have children, so they bring in an education facility attached to that business loan. Probably you need a cow which will continue just even serving the family. So they get to know, unlike what the banking sector is. So that gives you a bit of just seeing the impact. There's a social impact that is actually being impacted on this particular client, has actually driven me into liking and having the passion for this particular sector and the work they do.
One of the biggest hurdles that the sector faces, according to the new Amphi Kenya CEO, is partial regulation. There are countless moneylenders, Shylocks, and pyramid schemes that are coming into the market discussed as genuine microfinance institutions. This has distorted the market. To overcome this hurdle, Amphi Kenya has continuously engaged the Central Bank of Kenya, which regulates all the 13 microfinance banks in the country, and the National Treasury in order to develop regulations for the credit-only microfinance institutions. In addition, through its communication initiatives, the association sensitizes the public about its activities and membership.
The challenges in this position is that the association is, as I said, this particular sector now is partially regulated. So we get quite a number of players who are coming into the market and posing to be microfinance institutions. We have the pyramid schemes that may come up. We have this networking marketing institutions, like I heard of D9. I've heard of quite a number of many institutions that have come and actually distorted the financial market. So those are some of the challenges that you'll find that are affecting this particular sector. And as a leader in the association, what we have done is that we have continuously engaged the key stakeholders, that is the central bank and the national treasury, who, of course, the central bank regulates some of our institutions. There are 13 currently regulated. So we continuously engage them and lobby them, trying to get regulations for the credit-only institutions who have been left out. So that is some of the ways that we are trying to address, and continuously just sensitizing the public on who the microfinance institutions are and who are legit, who are doing legit business, by having them, through our website, through maybe publications. So we continuously just engage the public to understand who is actually doing the legit business in the sector.
As the leader of the Amphi Kenya team, one of Caroline's major responsibilities is to ensure that all her staff members clearly understand the association's vision and mission. By so doing, they are able to know the association's goals as they engage in their day-to-day work. In addition, she ensures that the team clearly understands the pillars that drive Amphi Kenya. One of the association's key roles is to build its members' capacity, and consequently, the team has to engage them continuously in order to develop activities and programs that serve their interests. As the leader, she therefore pays close attention to the ideas generated by the rest of the team, as well as the feedback they share with her in her endeavor to drive the agenda of the association forward. The team holds a strategic meeting once per week in which they evaluate their performance and plan for various activities, including workshops and training sessions for the members. If they notice that they are underperforming in a certain area, they then come up with solutions that will enable them to fill the gap.
What I can say about some of the leadership skills that I have employed in the organization is that I have ensured that the team also understands our mission and vision, so that even as we are working, they know what are our goals. I've also ensured they also understand some of the key pillars that are driving us, and those are we are here to, of course, ensure that the sector and our members have a conducive environment to operating. That is where we engage our key stakeholders, the central bank and the national treasury, who are key in this particular sector. That they also understand that we need to continuously build the capacity of our membership. So we have to keep making sure that we understand our members, keep engaging them so that we understand what challenges they are going through. And by this, we are able to also develop maybe activity areas or programs that are actually serving them to manage these particular areas. What I've also done is you have to be a good listener to what the feedback that they are giving you, or ideas that they will be giving you to actually drive your agenda forward. So once you're able to listen to their feedback and also to get to implement some of the ideas they also bring in, that also gives them, it's more like an incentive, because they also feel that they're not being left out and we are working together as a team. It's actually working together as a team. The other thing is that we have strategic meetings that we have every week, where we sit down to see what have we been able to achieve, where are we going wrong, especially if we have forums or workshops that are involving our members. We want to see how did they evaluate us, are there areas we need to improve on. So those are the times during those meetings that we are able actually now to pick such issues and be able now to work on them to improve the productivity of our activities.
In the next 5 years, Caroline is determined to strengthen the association by coming up with initiatives that will make it more sustainable and inclusive. She is also optimistic that within that time frame, AMFI Kenya will have successfully lobbied for the development and implementation of regulations for the credit-only microfinance institutions so as to eliminate regulatory gaps and raise the level of protection to consumers. Currently, the sector is operating in an environment that is rapidly evolving because of innovations in technology, especially in mobile and internet banking. This has led to the emergence of risks like cybercrime, which AMFI Kenya is addressing through sensitization workshops. The association is also sensitizing its members about the Movable Property Security Act and Regulation 2017, as well as the International Finance Reporting Standard IFRS 9, which was adopted by all the lenders in the country effective the 1st of January 2018. The standard requires a lender to reorganize a financial asset or liability in its statement of financial position when it becomes party to the provisions of the instrument.
The way I see this organization in the 5 coming years is that it will be a sustainable organization. One of the things is that there's a myth that associations are not sustainable. Yes, there's that difficulty of running associations because they're member-driven, but you have to be innovative in ways that you're also working to ensure that this association is sustainable. So one of my goals is actually to make this association very sustainable in the next 5 years. We hope to have lobbied for the regulations for the other part of the sector that is remaining, which is not regulated, and ensuring that they are all working in a conducive environment. That is what you'd want to see, and making sure that all the players who are not actually in it for the right reasons, because as I said before, there are all these pyramid schemes that come up, all these network marketing institutions that keep coming up that are distorting our market. We want to get rid of all those players who are not bringing in value to or distorting this particular market. So I believe that's where I want the association to be.
The affable CEO is a very committed Christian. She is a very prayerful person and puts God first in all her undertakings. Indeed, one of the items that clearly stand out on her neatly arranged workstation is the Holy Bible. She is also an avid reader of inspirational books, mainly on business, as well as personal and spiritual growth themes.
I'm a family person, and you have to always remember to put God first in everything that you do. So even every day you must have that commitment to just even having a word with your maker, just to have your day carved out. Another thing I do is that I have a passion for writing. So I would pick a topic that is of interest, or maybe something that is trending, and probably research on it and write about it. I also try to read a lot of inspirational books. They could be business associated or personal or spiritual. So that is what I personally, I could say about myself.